Hey, I'm Dallas Dolan, the U.S. TMT leader. I'm joined here today with Morgan Adamski, who leads our cyber, data, and technology practice here in the U.S. firm, and Tim Canonico, who leads our U.S. and global managed services. We're here at Google Cloud Next, where PwC was named the Global Cyber Managed Services Partner of the Year. We're so excited to be here with them. It's been a really great week, and we're going to talk about all the things that are happening around cyber and security and all the great stuff that we're doing with all of our clients and with Google themselves in the managed services area. So I'm going to start with a question to you, Morgan. We are living in a really complex environment, both geopolitically. It's very hard to be an enterprise leader in this space. What are some of the things that you're seeing, and why is managed services around cyber becoming just such a critical top-line issue for executives?
Yeah, every conversation that we're having right now with clients is the fact that the geopolitical risk is playing into what they're considering. Okay, when we talk about cyber risk, what do we have to care about? And it's playing out on a global scale, to be honest with you. It's no longer a technology issue, it's an enterprise risk. It comes into things like mission continuity. And so when you look at what's happening in the cybersecurity landscape, you continue to have multiple adversaries, whether it be criminal actors, whether it be nation state adversaries. They are coming at companies simultaneously, all at the same time. They can't just think about, oh, I have to worry about this threat, I have to worry about this attack vector. I've got to consider all of it at once. That's really hard for me. And when you think about what those adversaries are doing, they're doing everything from disrupting physical infrastructure, they're disrupting virtual infrastructure, they're taking out data centers in the same time that they're taking down cloud infrastructure. I mean, it is very difficult. It is supply chain compromises, it is intellectual property theft, it is espionage. I mean, think about all the things you have to talk about when it comes to cybersecurity and all the different things you have to put in place to be able to protect against those different types of threats. And so it is a complex issue. It is something that boards are trying to take on. And it's a lot of things that the cybersecurity community, CISOs in particular, are trying to communicate to boards. So when they think about what do I have to invest in, they understand the comprehensive picture.
Yeah, that's great. And then that's actually where our services come into play, not only from an advisory point of view, but what we're really seeing is in the managed services space. So Tim, maybe I can turn to you and chime in on that. Obviously, you run a portfolio of managed services, but one area that we're seeing a lot of demand for, and something we've just announced with Google in the last couple of months, is our cybersecurity managed services. Can you talk a little bit about just managed services in general, and why is cyber becoming such a critical piece of that?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it hits on the point that Morgan just said. When you think about the complexity of the environment and the different threat actors that are out there to protect and defend the enterprise, that's very expensive to do. It requires, specific tooling. It requires expertise. It requires personnel to be top of their game, thinking about this and focusing on it every day. And our managed service offering brings all the ingredients together that you need to protect and defend the enterprise in one neat package. And I like to say we bring the best of PwC, enabled by the best technology, and that's what we're excited to announce here this week is the partnership with Google and Google SecOps and how that enables us to deliver more efficiently and effectively. And the benefits to our clients is it simplifies how they can protect and defend their enterprise. It lowers cost. And because we're using agentic technology and automation and we're doing it with less people, we can actually be faster and more effective. So it's a great combined offering that can help our clients in a pretty significant way.
And maybe I can, Morgan, turn back to you just as it relates to that. When you double click into some of the capabilities that we have, how are we turning that into something that the enterprise is using immediately to go solve the problems that they're experiencing?
Yeah, everyone right now, to Tim's point, is looking for something that is continuous. It's constantly online. It's constantly looking for new threats. It's constantly coming up with ways to detect and remediate that threat. So when you talk about our unified detection and response capability, UDR, and specifically supporting Google SecOps, because that's an agentic first type architecture that's set up, where essentially it's going to have continuous agents that are able to do all of those various steps. I mean, that's amazing, because to be honest with you, the old security operations model was very manual. It was labor intensive. You had to have humans looking at every single step. And you had to put a lot of time and effort into that. And quite honestly, you were still missing a ton of things. And so now you're going to have this capability through our work with Google and through some of the things that we've been able to experience with all of our other clients across PwC. We can bring that expertise to be able to go constantly in the background that's looking for those new opportunities to make us more secure.
And what I love about the offering is really two things, right? That moving from doing episodic analysis to being more continuous helps improve the efficacy. But then the other piece of this is because we can do it with a fraction of the heads, it lowers the cost point and the barrier to entry for clients very significantly. There's a whole market in the middle market that haven't had access to the talent and technology they need to protect their enterprise because of the costs associated with it. And our offering scales up and down so that we can play in that middle market space and we can help a whole nother series of clients that haven't historically had access. So it's
yeah, that's an interesting point, right? Like if you think about what all the frontier model builders are doing around agentics, and specifically what Google's able to do as far as the integration of Stack. You have, functionally all the power, all the compute. You have the ability to build all the agents, and we can customize them, and then the skill sets they build into them. And of course, at the end of the day, they also have their broader security, functionality that they'll wrap around anything, which is really interesting. It's sort of a different model than we've seen maybe with some of the other hyperscalers. It's the ability to say, hey, I don't care what environment you're running internally. Like, we have the ability to bring wholesale security around the whole thing, and we will agentify it for you.
Yeah, and I think the other aspect that's really fascinating and exciting is the fact that you're also bringing in Google Threat Intel and Mandiant Intel into this process, right? Intel-driven defense is the way we're going to stay ahead of the adversary. And so the fact that you're able to incorporate that into what we're doing from a detection and response perspective, you're able to do it 24/7 because the adversary never sleeps, unfortunately. It really does make it an extremely powerful capability that's constantly running, that's really just going to help a ton of our clients.
Yeah, I've also heard that Morgan never sleeps, but that's a whole other issue. All right, so it's a really fast-moving environment out there. We've covered a couple of different topics around, capabilities and services. Obviously, this week at Google Next, they made a bunch of announcements on, speed of chips and, what new models they're going to be coming out with. And of course, there's other frontier models that are out there too doing the same. What's one piece of practical advice, Morgan, that you would give to enterprise customers today, and how they should be thinking about the pace of change and what actions to take?
Now is not the time to sit back. It's time to be proactive, not reactive. A lot of people, when you talk about the threat landscape, what's coming from an AI perspective, how adversaries are using it, it is, you have to move faster. You've got to invest in all the right places. It's really important to have things like managed services. So you're constantly looking for, where is the adversary? How can I stay ahead of it? How do I plan for things like a breach and containment, which is all part of what we're doing from a Google SecOps perspective. It is really just, how do I get ahead of the threat? And for you to think about that from an enterprise perspective is going to be really key to being successful in the future.
And then zooming out, Tim, when you think about just managed services in general and the things you're seeing, obviously this place is moving really quick, this particular area of cyber, but what else more broadly advice would you give to enterprise customers?
I think they should use managed services as a tool. When you think about the pace of agentic change, going it alone as a company, starting with a blank sheet of paper, trying to figure out all the use cases, building all the technology, maintaining it, doing the change management, it can be slow and expensive. And managed service providers like us are already investing in that capability. So you can get the benefit of the investments that we're making without the same capital outlay. That holds true broadly, and very specifically here in the cyberspace that we're talking about today.
I love it. So if you know the way broadly, you see it in all things. That's true with cyber and managed services. I want to thank Morgan and Tim for joining me here at Google Cloud Next. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.